Hey, it's Conor here in Boston. This is MIT's Endicott House on the outskirts of Boston. And I've been here this week for an entrepreneurs organization leadership development. 80 entrepreneurs from around the world, inspiring human beings, making a difference in their companies, their communities, their families. And here to kind of get inspired by hearing each other's stories and hearing from great speakers. One of the great speakers was Dandapani. Dandapani, I've known him for 7-8 years now. He spent 10 years as a Hindu monk in a monastery, exploring his purpose, why he's here. And Dandapani spoke about how to use our mind well. And Dandapani has a lot of videos on YouTube. I'll link a few in the cards and at the end screen here. So I won't go into detail what he shared, but there was one question that I've had for a long time, which is writing down your purpose really necessary? Isn't it okay to have a vague idea and day by day kind of know where you're going? And Dandapani's answer is no. And what he told us is time is the great clarifier. And he said, as you reduce the time, clarity increases. His question to us, if you have 50 years to live, would you spend the rest of today here? If you had 1 year to live, would you spend the rest of the day here? If you had 36 hours to live, what would you do? Would you spend the rest of the day here with these people? If you had 1 hour to live, where would you be? Who would you spending time with? What would you be doing? And that as you reduce down the time available until the end, it clarifies who, what is important to you. And I think the ability to use these different perspectives, that for me, I've made a real effort over the last 3 years to have a perspective that I've got another 100 years to contribute to the world. There's no rush. If each day I do 3 important things and slowly build with great people doing great things and focus on just doing things well, I have enough time to really build the things that matter. But on the same side, sometimes it's important for me to stop and in my journal think about, if I had very limited time, where would it go? Who would I choose to be with? What is my purpose? And yesterday we had another speaker, Kat Hoke, who has spent the last decade of her life dedicated to helping people incarcerated in prisons in America get their lives back on track, to, learn to forgive themselves and learn to be someone of value in the society, even if they just remain in prison, but to return and be someone of value. And one of her questions was, if you were to die today, what would you be remembered for? And are you happy with the answer? I think these are not questions that you want to be asking yourself every hour, every minute, every day. But when you come to a retreat in a place like this, in the forests around Boston, with a group of 80 people who are making a real difference, I think it's important once in a while for me to stop and ask these questions and be honest with my answer. If I was to die today, what would be my legacy? What would I be remembered for? And Brian shared in the closing statement, if you want to be remembered 100 years from today, make sure that you are important in the life of a child. That nothing that you're doing in your business, nothing that you own is going to be around in 100 years. But if today you are playing an important role in helping a young child, helping an adolescent, helping a young person see who they are, see the potential in them, see where they could go if they dedicate their best effort to really doing what matters. I think that there's 3 questions that really matter. Who am I? Where am I going? With whom? And using these different time perspectives. If you've got 100 years, you've got the time and the patience to do things well and do things right. if you've got an hour, it really focuses what and who is really important to you. And I'll be spending some time with my journal just using these different perspectives on time. But Dandapani's answers, why is it so important to write down your purpose, be absolutely clear, clarify what are your priorities today, this week, this month, if that's your purpose, is that we have enough time, but life is finite. Energy is finite. You've got to decide where you allocate your energy. Because if you're not deciding, you're just bouncing around between the stimulus that are coming in. And what plan has that stimulus for you? Not much. So that's my reflection here on a Sunday morning. MIT's Endicott House, of beautiful surroundings to come and spend time with 80 inspiring entrepreneurs from the Entrepreneurs Organization. Thank you for your subscribes, your likes, your comments, your emails. I hope this week's video helps you reflect on some important questions. Perhaps it's not a tip for just today, but a reflection on how you're using the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 years of your life. Have a good one.